everybody. Thanks for joining me for video 17 of the putting the bits and bobs collage quilt together. Okay, I haven't started anything yet. I've played a little bit. I did this. I think I showed this, I can't remember how many weeks ago. It was a little hanky with this beautiful embroidery in the corner. Very delicate embroidery. And I initially thought I was going to use it as the pointy end of the hanky and tuck it in somewhere, but I didn't find anywhere that it just worked. And I didn't actually like it that much, so I, through some trial and error, decided to make an oval of it and put a little frame around it and find a place for it somewhere. Now, I haven't laid the quilt out yet enough to decide where, but here is how that turned out. I initially stitched the hanky. It started to stitch the hanky on top of the background, and then I was gonna make the frame from there. But I realized if it was a frame, it would actually be behind the frame, so then I took up my stitching and I drew the oval on the background and reversed appliqued it onto the hanky. It didn't 100% turn into the oval that it started out to be, but it'll do. I like it. I like how it turned out. I don't have quite enough of this blue around, so I was happy to be able to use the lighter blue. I have dark blues and baby blues, but this blue I didn't quite have very much, so I was happy to use that. And actually, this fabric that it was made, I only had a little square of it in my whole collection. I was given this some charms, oh, I don't know, long time ago, and it was part of that. Okay, so there's that. I haven't found a place for this yet either, though I am considering putting it there, but I don't know. Well, I need to lay everything out better so I can see everything. Now I have lots of plans to do little clusters of little flowers, including these little hexie flowers. Just little clusters in the corners where there might be some space like that. I have a couple of other flowers as well that I am planning on making different kinds of flowers to have different kinds of clusters. And I have this gauzy Swiss pin dot fabric that I loved. I decided to make a bow of, and I'm going to hang it somewhere on here too. I'm just not sure where yet. Again, that's one of those pieces that I have ready to fill. Now, I think I will start with the button block this week. This is the pink one. I have a blue one in the other side of the quilt, and I like the way it turned out. It looks like a button card, and I have all these pink buttons set aside. I still don't know which ones I plan to use, but to sew onto the card like it's like a button card that you would perhaps buy. Like I said, I don't know which buttons. These are just some of my favorites from my collection. All the neat colors. So many different pinks. But I really like that. I like that I've got the options to make something, but I still don't know what. I have to see how everything around it looks. But so those are the plan for this button block. But first I'm going to the sound of buttons. I'm going to do the blind stitch around the edge. And in this case, I think I'm going to duplicate the embroidery around the white part of the button block too. And then we'll see where I am. All right. I'm popping on here for a minute to share. Before I got too far along stitching the pink button block down, I poked around in some of the laces and lace collars I had, and I found this little piece. And I think I'm going to lift the basting stitches and tuck it under this button block, just so the little bit of edging sticks out. I think I'd like that. I won't know till I actually pull up the stitches and tuck it under, but I think I like that. I had a couple of other collar pieces, but they were kind of on the darker beigey coloring, and as I was trying to lie them down, I was like realizing there's really nothing in my piece that's that dark, so I might have to stay with the lighter and white laces if I'm going to add any. Now, the other thing I was going to show you is I had this piece of trim lace, I'm not sure what to call it, and I was wanting to do something with this. And I initially thought I'd put it on a darker piece of fabric and stitch around it so the fabric would show. But unless I left the holes on the edge, the only place the fabric showed was in the hole of the center flower. So that just sort of sat there and didn't go anywhere. But then at the same time, or a while later, when poking around, realized I hadn't used any of this fabric, and I really like it and wanted to use it in this quilt. I have no idea why I never used it for any of the blocks. So I was trying to think of a way I could use it and feature it, and I don't have much room, so it had to be something semi-small. And then I realized, or thought, why don't I cut myself out my initial B? And this happens to be, as I've mentioned to you before, I like to, all of these things usually are connected to me somehow. But what I ended up doing, I cut out one of those shapes as well, and I've done this with it. And I really think that's so sweet already. This is just basted. And I'm going to stitch it all down in the end and take out the white stitching, of course. But the reason I like this letter B is it's the same font that my Victoriana Quilt Designs website has used since I started in 2001. So actually before then, but the website started in 2001. It's been the font I've used for the words Victoriana Quilt Designs, except for the V of the Victoriana. That's an initial letter, but all the rest are from this font. So I liked how it connected to me that way, and it's such a pretty B with a little floral curl. So yes, I've also made this since I poked in the last time. Okay, so I'm going to get that laid down and see how that looks and find a home for this little sweet initial. I'll be back. Well, I got the pink button block stitched down and the embroidery redone. You can see I didn't end up putting that lace collar under here. I did actually, I mean, didn't stitch it, but when I got it tucked in, I didn't like it. There was something off with the collar and the button block, so I changed my mind, and I found this cute little blue trim to poke under there. So I did that instead, and I will add this soon. The smaller pieces I'm going to do last, and the buttons onto the button block I will also do close to the end. But for now, this patch is ready for me to continue. And so that's it for this week. I was able to put that lacy collar in another place, and I did a different collar somewhere else, and I'll show you that coming up. But for now, I'm going to finish this video and upload it so it's in time for you to watch it on Thursday, and I hope you enjoyed what I shared this week. Like, comment, subscribe. That's always helpful. And come back next week when I have more of this progress to share. Thank you very much for watching and for your interest, and happy stitching.